Standing in a packed room can still mean total isolation. Voices overlap, strangers brush past, but the physical presence of others fails to register. This sensation persists beyond a passing mood. In 2023, the World Health Organization categorized loneliness as a pressing global public health concern. U.S. Surgeon General Vivek Murthy quantified the physical toll of this condition. Epidemiological data indicates the mortality risk of prolonged loneliness matches smoking 15 cigarettes a day, placing it alongside severe obesity as a lethal health threat. When someone expresses this kind of pain, the standard societal advice remains consistent. Get out of the house, join a club, and socialize more. For millions dealing with chronic isolation, joining a crowded room fails to provide relief. Raw socialization can often increase the intensity of the pain. These treatments fail because we use loneliness as a catch-all term for distinct psychological states. To treat this epidemic, we have to map the specific layers of being alone. Solitude serves as the physical baseline, the simple state of being apart from others. It offers a restorative experience, improving concentration and allowing for cognitive reset. True distress begins with social loneliness. This operates as a biological hunger pain, triggered when an individual lacks a broader community network. This represents a network gap, the discrepancy between the social contacts a person biologically needs and what they currently have. The hunger for a tribe goes unsatisfied. The second layer is emotional loneliness. A person can maintain a busy office and a phone full of acquaintances, yet still lack deep, trust-building attachments. This creates an intimacy gap. It marks the difference between being seen by peers and being truly known by a close partner or family member. Beneath that lies the deepest layer of the taxonomy, existential isolation. Psychiatrist Irvin Yalom defines this as an unbridgeable gap. It is the realization that every human's subjective experience is entirely unique, meaning your perspective on the world can never be perfectly shared by anyone else. As we descend these layers, the problem shifts. We move from a physical lack of people to a philosophical lack of shared comprehension. If any of these layers persist, the brain reconfigures its internal systems. Temporary feelings solidify into a persistent biological pathology. Acute situational loneliness crosses a threshold into trait loneliness. At this point, the body adopts a permanent baseline that assumes the individual is stranded without a protective group. The brain compensates by altering its default mode network. It enters a state of constant hypervigilance, scanning for potential external threats. This triggers a physiological cascade. The body elevates cortisol, drives up blood pressure, and dampens natural killer cell activity. This hypervigilance creates a self-perpetuating loop. Suspicion of others' motives leads to social awkwardness, which repels the exact connections needed for recovery. Ultimately, chronic loneliness operates as a self-reinforcing biological pathogen, weaponizing the body's very own defense systems against itself. This biological reality explains why forcing a chronically lonely person into a crowded room fails. Applying a social cure to an emotional or existential wound is like applying a cast to a burn. Surrounded by superficial chatter, the individual's hypervigilance spikes, amplifying their sense of alienation. Medical professionals use a specific clinical framework to address these distinct wounds. For social loneliness, the interventions are infrastructural. Doctors utilize social prescribing, connecting patients to local community programs and group activities to rebuild their network. Emotional loneliness requires cognitive behavioral therapy. Therapists work to dismantle faulty patterns of thought, allowing the patient to safely rebuild vulnerability. Existential isolation remains a permanent feature of human life. However, individuals can bypass the distress it causes through strict authenticity, being uncompromisingly honest about their internal state. This authenticity allows for I-sharing. This occurs when two people discover an identical reaction to the same event. For a moment, the existential gap disappears. The pain of being alone is a functioning evolutionary alarm system. By decoding which layer is sounding the alarm, we can treat the specific wound. We find comfort in the fact that, existentially, we are all in this alone together.